Welcome to Heroes in Marine. In this video, I have here a vintage U.S. military survival food package general purpose ration. This is from the 1960s. There are a lot of rations from the 1970s that's pretty much the same ration, but later date, like the 1970s, 80s, 90s, and even the 2000s. I'm not sure about the 90s thing, but I know that there are a 2000s version of this ration. I think it's in the cardboard box, but don't quote me on that. I could be wrong. If I am wrong, put it in the comment section below so I know. I'm always trying to learn something new every day, so always feel free to correct me if I say something wrong by accident or anything like that. But from the research that I've done on this ration, on Google or anything like that, I was not able to find anything really on this ration. I would go on mreinfo.com. It's a pretty reputable site. Steve 1989 is also on there, and he has a few articles there too. I go there and I looked up this ration. This is what I put in: vintage U.S. military survival food package, general purpose ration, 1960. I put that in, and I was not able to find this ration at all. I wasn't able to find any ration along those lines at all. And whenever I would go on Google and I would look that same exact thing up, it would bring me to places where I could buy it, and I was not able to find any articles on the origins and why this was made, and what branch. But for what I know by watching YouTube videos, the only reason why I know what I know about this ration is from YouTube videos, and from Steve 1989's videos. This is where I get a lot of my information from with this ration. So I watched his video, and then I'm relaying some of the information that he's said onto you guys.
Hey, let me ask you a question.
Alright, and my dad here is going to also be interviewing me while I'm talking to you guys. Alrighty.
The question is,
yeah,
what made you get into rations in the first place?
Alright. So, what got me into rations is, Steve 1989, Nathan's and Marie's, Dub C, stuff like that. Those are pretty good ration reviewers. From watching them kind of inspired me to, do this YouTube stuff.
All right. Let's see. I don't know. I just noticed that, like a little while ago, months ago, you all of a sudden started, purchasing rations and MREs and things of that nature. So I was just curious about that. So next question.
Mm-hmm.
How do you feel about these taste tests that you do?
Okay.
Are you a little apprehensive when doing the taste test, or are you all in and say, you know what, it is what it is, I'm just gonna taste this?
Okay, so anything vintage like this, right? You have to obviously look for signs of anything, right? Like botulism, whatever. Are you bloating and stuff like that? Holes in anything, signs like that, right? Weird smells, weird taste, stuff like that. Generally, you would notice, or weird side effects like mouth numbing, stuff like that. You would have to be careful, spit it out immediately if you start getting those effects, right? But like anything vintage, I'm obviously a little bit worried about, because I don't want to get no botulism or food poisoning or anything like that, or anything along those lines in general. But yeah, I'm a little bit worried. But anything a U.S. ration, I had a 5-6-year-old U.S. ration before, and it's not an issue, or any ration that's pretty much new, it's not a problem at all.
Right. I realize I'm just doing an interview, and I'm not your grammar teacher. Right? You say, oh, I don't want no, this, that's a double negative. But anyway, so you're just all in, right? You have a right. And let me ask you this: when it comes to your viewers.
Yeah.
Right. Do you think your viewers prefer you to do, I don't want to say taste tests, but do you think your viewers prefer you to taste the rations as you're doing a review on the rations, or do you think they would be okay, pretty much okay, without you tasting the rations?
I don't know. I haven't had them tell me, but from like, I've only had like one person tell me on Reddit. Like, they asked me, are you going to, it was the CR1M video, the Australian CR1M, a vintage video. Go check that out, obviously, guys. Probably go check that out. It's a pretty good video. Good information, solid information. Alright, so, like, on Reddit, I put it up in the MRE, r/MRE Reddit, right, or MRE Reddit page, and I had one person say on there, hey, are you going to open it up and taste it? With like, vintage rations, I don't do that, really. I don't really open them up much, but let's say I do get another ration from that same time period, either in the same condition or better, I will review it. But if I only have one of that ration, I'm not going to review it at that moment, of course.
Right. Okay, so
sorry about that long answer, but just covering all aspects of that.
No doubt, no doubt. It is what it is.
Yes, sir, it is.
Now,
it is what it is.
Next question.
Yes, sir.
Let's say this is 1960s. In 1960s, we're talking like Vietnam era, things of that nature, right?
Yeah.
So, if you had, let's say you have this one here.
Yeah.
You're not going to open it. It's you only have this one from this era. If you had another one, exact same one as this. If you had two of these,
yes,
you would put one on display, right? Keep that one for you. The other one, would you taste test that for the viewers?
Yes, I would. So, I would obviously have to be careful because it's from Vietnam era, obviously, because that's super long ago. I have to be careful of that. But like certain stuff in like Vietnam era rations and stuff that they put in those rations at that time, I would have to be careful of and probably shouldn't eat, because I know 99% of the time they could be old, right? But in cans most of the time, obviously stored in the right conditions, they're good. It's almost like with every ration, like they can last forever if stored in the right conditions, right? If it's like if it's in the freezer for like 50 years, like it can stay good for another 50 years if you leave it in a really, really cold condition, and it stays at that really cold condition, then it'll last almost forever if you have it like that.
So this is Vietnam era. You would taste test that.
Yes.
Let's say that's the 60s, right? 1950s, we're talking about the Korean War. But let's go a little past that in the 1940s. So if you had a ration, right? Some type of ration, ration, right? From the World War II,
yes.
Would you taste test that?
All right, so yes.
Considering what you just said about the right conditions, everything being stored in the proper condition, would you taste test a ration from World War II era?
It would only be right to say yes, but only stored in the right conditions, of course, right?
Right.
If it's stored in the right conditions, yes, I will, because 99, I'm not going to say 99, there's still a little bit of risk there, but there is a good chance that it will probably be okay, right? There was always still like that risk that a person took it out of the freezer for like 10 minutes and then put it back in, right? Or like a power, the power went out for like 5 minutes or whatever, or like an hour, and then they put it, and then the freezer came back on, right? So, but I don't know what happened through all those years that it's been in storage. So, yeah, I'll still have to be careful of that. But under the ideal conditions, yes. If like and if I look everything passes my inspection, 1,000% I'll eat it. Yes.
Sure.
Well, certain things I may not ingest, but I'll taste it.
Right. I like this. Great answer right there. Great answer. And I'm sure your viewers appreciate this honesty.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Not dishonesty, but this
Yeah.
honesty, right?
Yeah.
So, another question. Of all the rations, MREs that you've tasted so far,
Mm-hmm.
which one was the best tasting?
All right, so by far, oh my God, this is a little bit of a hard one here. By far the Norwegian ration and the Russian ration, because the Russian ration was a cured pork. I think that's what was in it, but I could be wrong. But but whatever meat that was, it was great meat. It was cured. I loved it. The Norwegian ration was great. Very very high quality. I love that one. So those are two of the highest ones on the roster at the moment. And the Chilean one, so that would be either the second one, right? Because and maybe the Norwegian would be number one, Chilean would be number two because it had salmon in it. I love salmon, I love fish, and I love sushi. The Russian ration, the Russian ration would be on the number 3 tier because the craft is pretty hard and stuff like that. I could barely read it, but other than that, it was great.
So, that being said, which was the worst tasting out of all the rations?
Oh man, by far the U.S. MREs. No disrespect to the U.S., of course. I'm born in the U.S. I'm an American, but yeah, I really don't like the U.S. rations all that much. The only ration that I've made, or the only menu that I may have liked from the whole ration or the U.S. rations was the pizza menu. I'm not sure exactly what menu that is, but pizza menu. And the Z ration, because the Z ration has basically everything. It's basically a U.S. MRE, but it has exactly what a U.S. MRE would have, but in a different package, basically, and more stuff in there.
Okay.
So the Z ration and both of my rations that I reviewed on the channel.
So, nice to know. Now, of all the things you've learned on this journey so far,
it's been a short one.
right?
Short, yes.
Right. It's been short, yes.
Yeah.
However, of all the things you've learned on this short journey, what would you say is not the most important thing you've learned, but what is one of the most important things you've learned when it comes to dealing with rations and
All right, so that's kind of a tough one, because compared to the Steve 1989, Nathan's MRE, like compared to them, I know nothing with the rations, right? So I'm not an expert or anything when it comes to rations. I'm still a newbie when it comes to that. But at the point where I am now, I'm still in my early stages, and I'm still, getting there. But like how to stay safe with rations, and how to talk on the camera. Really, like I'm still a little bit choppy here and there, but I'm getting a little bit better when it comes to talking on the camera, of course. But there are still a lot of other things that I've learned on this channel that it would take me like an hour to talk about. But yeah, to keep it short,
right.
Somewhat short.
I like the answer.
Mm-hmm.
You mentioned safety as number one. I like that. You can name, let's say without naming names.
All right. So.
Or actually, you can name names if you would like. However, I just want to put this question out there, right? Some advice that you have gotten from other people that's in the MRE community, right? What would you say is some good advice that you've gotten?
All right, so Smitty, he's helped me out a little bit with this, a lot. He's taught me like like what to look out for with rations, like and how to not get botulism and stuff like that. Like if you see any sort of bloating on cans or delamination on like packages, like in U.S. rations, there are a lot of packages and stuff like really thick plastic packaging, like especially like in the cheese packets, peanut butter packets, jelly packets, stuff like that. You would find, let's say they're really old, like a really vintage ration like that. You would sometimes come across like a delamination on there. So with those, I wouldn't eat it or I wouldn't risk it at all.
Nice.
So that's one of the things that I've learned from him. He's also taught me a few other stuff, but I want to keep it short as possible. You know, not ramble on forever.
So I see the MRE community is bigger than what I thought it was. You know, there's a lot of people involved in this. Take it seriously. You know, I see that you take it seriously. Let's say, what's your trying to choose the right word here. What do you think your I don't want to say goal, but let's say from now to maybe a couple of months from now.
Yeah.
You know, where do you think you will be at?
Honestly,
with this, yeah.
Honestly, I don't know. Like, for me, like, maybe with a few more subscribers or whatever, or you know, I know for sure I have like a way bigger collection. I have probably a lot more vintage rations, like a lot more other rations. I don't know exactly what rations that I want to get exactly at the moment. I'm still looking. I would love to get a Canadian ration, but those are somewhat hard to get in the U.S. at least. If you're in Canada, it's pretty okay to get, but in the U.S. it's somewhat hard. But maybe a few subscribers, but for me it's not really my goal to get subscribers. It's just to share the passion with other people.
Nice. Well said.
Yeah.
And I think on that, on a note like that, I think I'll conclude the interview. But I just want to say one last thing. I just want to say thank you to those that have helped my son on this journey. I really appreciate that. You know, the positive vibes and the advice, the positive advice and constructive criticism you've given him. I'm going to make this short as well. So I just want to say thank you.